Imagine the roaring seas of the South China coast in the early 19th century. The waters are ruled not by the mighty navies of empires, nor by legendary warlords, but by a woman, a pirate queen feared across the oceans. Her name, Ching Shih, the most powerful and successful pirate in history. This is not a tale of fiction, but of a real woman who commanded over 70,000 men, defied the Qing dynasty, and rewrote the rules of piracy. This is the story of the pirate queen who was never defeated. Born in 1775 in the Guangdong province, Ching Shih, whose real name was Shi Yang, was far from royalty. She came from a humble background, and like many women of her time, her fate seemed sealed, either marry or work in the shadowy corners of society. But fate had other plans for her. Shi Yang grew up near the bustling ports of Canton, where piracy was already rampant. She eventually found herself working as a courtesan in a floating brothel, serving high-ranking officials, merchants, and pirates alike. But Shi Yang was not just a beautiful woman. She was clever, observant, and ambitious. She listened to the secrets of men who thought she was just another plaything. She learned about trade routes, naval movements, and the weaknesses of the Qing dynasty's navy. In 1801, a legendary pirate lord named Zheng Yi stormed into her life. He was the fearsome leader of the Red Flag Fleet, one of the largest pirate factions in China. When Zheng Yi laid eyes on Shi Yang, he was captivated, not just by her beauty, but by her intelligence. But Shi Yang was not one to simply become a pirate's wife. She struck a deal. If she were to marry Zheng Yi, she would have an equal share in his power, and Zheng Yi agreed. Together, they ruled the Red Flag Fleet, expanding its influence and forging alliances with other pirate factions. Under ChingShih and Zheng Yi, the Red Flag Fleet grew into an unstoppable force. At its peak, it commanded over 1,800 ships and 70,000 men, dwarfing the naval forces of the Qing dynasty, the Portuguese, and even the British East India Company. They raided towns, intercepted trade ships, and imposed their own laws on the seas. Merchant vessels were forced to pay tribute, and entire coastal settlements fell under their rule. But then, in 1807, tragedy struck. Zheng Yi was killed in a typhoon, leaving Ching Shih a widow. This was the moment many expected her empire to collapse. Instead, she seized absolute control. Ching Shih knew that commanding thousands of bloodthirsty pirates required more than just brute strength. She established a strict pirate code, and those who disobeyed met brutal fates. All loot was to be accounted for and shared. Any pirate caught stealing from the fleet was executed. Female captives were to be treated with respect. If a pirate raped a woman, he was put to death immediately. Any pirate who abandoned duty or disobeyed orders had their ears cut off, or worse. Her discipline turned the Red Flag Fleet into an efficient, well-organized machine, feared by all who encountered it. The Qing dynasty could not allow ChingShih's dominance to continue. They sent massive fleets to crush her, but every battle ended in disaster for the imperial forces. Ching Shih was a brilliant naval strategist. She lured Qing ships into narrow passages, cut off their escape, and set their ships ablaze. The Qing navy suffered humiliation after humiliation. Desperate, the Qing dynasty begged for foreign help. The Portuguese and British tried to eliminate her, but they too failed. By 1810, Ching Shih knew that even an empire as mighty as China would not stop hunting her. But instead of waiting to be defeated, she did something no pirate had ever done before. She negotiated her own surrender on her own terms. She walked into the halls of the Qing government, not as a defeated criminal, but as an undefeated pirate queen. She demanded full amnesty for herself and her men. And she got it. Thousands of her pirates were allowed to keep their wealth. Many were even given jobs in the Qing navy. And Ching Shih? She retired comfortably and lived the rest of her life as a wealthy, respected woman in China. Ching Shih died in 1844 at the age of 69, having accomplished what no pirate before or after her could. She was never defeated in battle. She built the most powerful pirate empire in history. And she outmaneuvered the greatest empires of her time, walking away with what wealth, power, and freedom. Even today, her legend lives on. She is the inspiration for pirate stories, movies, and even characters in films like Pirates of the Caribbean. Ching Shih was not just a pirate queen. She was a mastermind, a warrior, and a ruler of the seas, and her name will be remembered forever.